Hey, this is Scott Steiner, Big Papa Pump, the Big Bad Booty Daddy, and you listen to ICOPOD, the best podcast going today. Holler if you hear me.
And we're back with episode 96 of ICOPOD. I'm Bob Colling Jr. And with me, as always, is Austin Skinner. Austin, how you doing this week?
I'm okay. Still recovering from last week. I got some pride scars from actually sitting down and watching that. But you know, we're on the mend here on ICOPOD, and hopefully our listeners had a good week in between, a better week than we did, hopefully, because boy, our week felt like about 15 minutes. So just time flies when you're having fun, and we always have fun here on ICOPOD.
That's what it's all about. It's all about just good old wholesome fun and entertainment.
There you go.
Which is what the WWF provides. But you know what doesn't provide wholesome family entertainment? Jerry Springer. So last week,
oh boy,
I mentioned this a fabulous story about Jerry Springer and all
yes,
this other stuff. And I'm sure everybody's been waiting for a whole week of what the hell am I talking about?
Right.
Now, a lot of times when you watch that show, it's like, hey babe, sorry, I slept with your cousin, or, you know, your smoking hot sister came on to me, whatever. It's usually a whole thing. But this few days ago, I was watching some trash television, as I normally do.
Yeah.
And I figured, hey, let's watch some Jerry Springer. So I did. And on this episode, this woman. Now, I'm aware that Jerry Springer is fake. It's scripted, whatever. They embellish a lot of stories just because that's what they can do. I get it.
Right.
But why anybody would want to embellish this story for any amount of money is baffling. So it's terrifying. She's on there to say that she's in love with her brother. Now, Jerry's like, what are you talking about? And she's just like, well, let me clarify. All right, we didn't live in the same house. I just met him a couple years ago, whatever. He's my half brother. And we've been having sex.
Oh.
And I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me? This isn't a step brother. It's your half brother. It's the same dad, different moms, but you know, you're still technically blood.
Yeah.
Like that's legitimately gross. And she's just, you know, I can't help it, blah, blah, all these, whatever. And I'm like, okay, cool. So then they bring out the brother. And then she tells him that she's in love with him and all this stuff. And then she's all like, you know, it has to mean something to you too, because, you know, we've been having sex. Right? And you want to know what his answer is?
No, I just didn't want to jack off.
Pretty much. He's like, you know what? You do what you got to do to get laid.
Oh my.
And the entire crowd is just like, what?
Oh my God.
And it made me really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because usually it's so simple. Like, oh, I hooked up with the person that did my tattoo. Sorry, I was drunk and I slept with some guy. Not like family.
Fucking A, man.
They dedicated like 35 minutes to that one fucking story. I was like, you gotta be kidding me.
Son of a bitch.
Anytime somebody tells you, like, hey, there's no entertainment quality in Steve Wilkos or Jerry Springer or whatever, bullshit. There's that story. Steve Wilkos is usually depressing anyway. It's usually about, child neglect or like molestation or something. It's usually pretty sad.
Yeah.
For just simple, mind-numbing, stupid humor, Jerry Springer's clutch. It comes in every time for you.
You know what blows my mind is when they do like the KKK episodes.
Oh, yeah.
They'll have like Klansmen on stage. Like, are you fucking nuts?
Yeah, it's fine.
Good Lord.
To think that my babysitter allowed me to watch Jerry Springer in like 1997.
That explains a lot.
I was going to say, it probably explains a lot of my sense of humor and what I feel like is appropriate at various given times.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not a proud individual, but it's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was my story. Do you have any stories, Austin, or should we not go on a ramble and we can just start the regular program?
Not so much a story, but I do have an inquiry for you.
Okay.
What has happened to our good old friend Vince Russo?
So I figured you were going to ask me that.
We've completely abandoned him.
I know. And the thing is that he hasn't really produced any other paintings.
Oh, he's on hiatus.
From what I can remember.
Okay.
And I used to, I believe I follow him. I might not. I don't know. I used to always see it I do follow him. He was usually my feed, so I got nervous that he blocked me or something. But I guess we can just read some of his tweets.
I mean, yeah, for old time's sake, since he's not producing his, museum quality pieces anymore.
Okay. All right, here we go. Ready? Vince Russo update. This was not planned, so bear with me here. So 20 minutes ago.
Oh my God.
Here on October 27th, 2019, Vince Russo says, anybody looking for a great deal on those one-up video games, Walmart is clearing out a lot of last year's games at $75, regularly $2.99. That is a steal. Games are well made as well. I own 2. I don't know what he's referencing. Is that like the arcade games?
Yeah, so it's like the arcade one-up cabinets. They're like the, I don't know what, half scale or something like that. They were like super hard to get your hands on when they first came out. Now I go into Walmart, dude, and it's literally the shelves are like overflowing with the containers. Actually, that, you know what? I'll give old Vinny Roo credit there. That actually is a steal of a deal. Like shit, I am kind of considering that, even though I should not be doing that. And I do not have the space for that. But that's pretty cool.
If it's that cheap, because I remember looking at them, they were $2.99. I was like, "There's no way.
There's no fucking way.
I can't justify that."
No.
But if it's at the price that he just said,
yeah,
which I already forgot what it was,
$75.
That's a pretty good deal,
right? And there's some good cabinets that they've released.
And yeah, well, I wanted to get Pac-Man.
So yeah, Pac-Man, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat is out now, I think. So.
He's retweeting a lot of stuff, but he's not really doing anything here.
Yeah, so he's kind of stalled out. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of depressing. It looks like though he has a new way of getting money from people.
Okay.
And that would be, I think it's actually an entirely new eBay page.
Oh God.
It's called Venom Vinyl. Here's a description of what it says. Former WWE head writer, producer, talent Vince Russo shares his love of... Oh my God, he did not spell that. Shares his love of albums. There's no way that's right. By offering titles he owns in his own collection. Upon request, Vince will autograph your LP with a special message pertaining to it. Note where you want album signed. There is no. Maybe he did spell it right. Is this all in caps? So it's like very off-putting.
Okay, yeah.
Let me just see. Let me see.
Let me get this straight. This motherfucker.
How do you spell album?
ALU. I'm sorry, ALBUM.
Okay.
Album.
Right. He spelled it albums.
Oh, he put another L in there?
He put another L in there.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. There's your writer for you, WWF programming.
Yeah. Well, like all those wrestlers that would say, like, Vince Russo would give me a promo, and it was like Jim Cornette would be like, he wrote TV, and then like 900 words were spelled wrong. He didn't know how to use an apostrophe or a comma. So.
Yeah.
To give you an idea here, he has 56 items for sale. This is boring. I want more paintings.
So you're telling me right now this motherfucker's signing albums
upon request,
popular bands.
Yeah, he's got like Fleetwood Mac, Diana Ross, Johnny Cash, Elton John, Diana Ross.
What right
John
does
Denver.
What right does he have to sign their albums?
Well, it's from him. He's a famous guy.
So he's basically having a glorified garage sale on eBay, is what you're telling me.
For the most part, yes, that would appear to be the case.
He must be very tight on funds.
Well, he did buy 2 of those games for $75 each, so he probably has to
like recover a little.
Yeah, like justify it.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. All right.
Yeah, he has not done. He's done a lot of podcasts. Obviously, he has like 27 shows for a nickel.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. Well, let me go to his actual art eBay page. Maybe
I'm pretty depressed now.
Well, you're the one that wanted to freaking do this.
I know. I'm starting to regret it.
He does not have. Let me see. Items for sale. I don't think he has anything on here. Yeah, he doesn't have anything else for sale here. He hasn't done any paintings recently. Well, you know what? Actually, speaking of paintings, I want to put over, and I don't know if I've mentioned him, but I should.
Okay.
Hal Haney. Have you heard of that gentleman?
No.
He is a terrific artist, and a few months back I bought 5. I've showed you those. You and Hogan.
Oh yeah, where it's like the split faces, right?
Yeah, transformations and like WCW versus WWF guys. He was on Etsy, and then WWE was like, you can't sell that, so he took off his page, which I think is absolute horseshit.
Yeah.
That they did that, but he is honestly a terrific painter. I recently bought his newest piece of the AEW roster because I'm now an AEW mark.
Oh.
So he is a gem of a guy. He really is a good, really great artist. So it's what HALHANEY. His Instagram, Twitter, his Etsy account. If you guys want to get any really affordable art, it's prints from his original artwork.
Right.
But for that value of I think it's $35 each. And he's got various deals where it's really worth it. I plan on getting a bunch more from him because I thoroughly enjoy it. So
it's going to be very weird for me to visit you next time we sit down to record because you're going to have stuff hanging on your walls.
Yes, I'm also going to have an enormous Macho Man Randy Savage quilt.
Right. And like the Bob that I've known doesn't decorate. It's almost like you live a hotel life. Like it's just placed furniture. Dude. And there's nothing personal.
So before she gets here, let me have this little conversation with you.
Oh boy.
So Sarah and I have been dating for several months now.
Yeah.
She's really several months.
A handful, yeah. Okay.
Several is like 3 or more.
Okay.
She's really into Christmas, and she wants me to get a Christmas tree.
Okay.
Well, ever since I've been living in this apartment, I've never had a Christmas tree.
No.
Nor do I ever want a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
So I'm really trying to fight that because I don't want a Christmas tree. Sure, it would be fake. Like, I'm not going to get a real... If I were to get one, I'm not going to get a real one.
Right.
But she's really, really insistent about me getting a Christmas tree. So I'm trying to do a compromise where it's like, I'll put it up like December 1st. She's talking about more like November 1st. I'm like, you can't put it up before Thanksgiving. It's a whole thing. I don't know. I'll probably end up losing this one, and I'll have to get a goddamn Christmas tree.
Are you more worried about it that it's a Christmas tree, or are you more worried about the timing?
I just don't like a Christmas tree cluttering up a room.
Really?
Yeah.
Like even in like December.
If I had a house where I had 4 rooms, I can put it in one of those rooms.
Okay.
In this apartment, I have my bedroom and my living room, dining room, whatever. I'm limited to amount of rooms here.
Right.
When I was living with my dad at the old house in Bayberry, there was the living room and then there was the den.
Right.
I always went to the den. The living room was always up in the fucking living room. I didn't have to deal with the tree in the living room. So it's kind of different. I've tried to explain that to her, but
no, yeah, that's fair.
Speaking of Christmas and gifts and stuff like that, what in your relationship histories, what has been like your limit that you spent on a significant other?
Well, the last couple of years, I have kind of refused to make lists and basically forced the person I'm with to come up with shit on the fly. I've always tried to stick around just because I'm very money conscious, especially like,
I am as well. That's why I'm asking this question.
yeah. So I've always tried to stick around. The way I do things, okay, I got to preface this a little bit. Birthdays, I don't do gifts. Birthdays, we go out to dinner and you get a nice card. Like, that's a birthday.
Okay.
You do a nice dinner, a nice card. There's your birthday. Christmas is when you'll do a gift or a couple of gifts, and I stick under $200.
Okay.
That's just how it is. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I'm in a bad situation because her birthday and Christmas are 3 days apart.
Yeah, that's rough. Yeah.
So I gotta like load up for that stretch of time, and then I'm good until like Valentine's Day.
Right.
So.
But yeah, so that's kind of like my guidelines. So like I'll do one big gift that was maybe like $75. And then the rest I'll just kind of fill in with little stuff and but I try to stick under 200 just because I think like, especially when you're with somebody for a while, like you don't need to like win them over with gifts and money.
Right.
You know what I mean? It just comes to the point where you both agree like, hey, let's just get each other a couple of things and call it a day sort of thing. So that's kind of where I've been at with it. But I'm also a firm believer in just random stuff, random gifts throughout the year. Oh, this is cool. Oh, she'll like this. Oh, let me buy this just for no reason.
Which I think is the right approach to do as well.
Right.
You can't just be on holidays that you do that type of stuff.
Right. So, I mean, that's where I'm at with it. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, you don't do a gift for the birthday. It's like, not really. Not really. Because, like, what is your limit for a birthday? Because the birthday is like, I don't know. I feel like Christmas is more of a big deal.
Yeah. No, so. I agree completely. I feel like I'm at the age right now where it's like I don't need presents because I'm more inclined just to get it myself.
Exactly. Yeah. Like you're both adults, you can get your own fucking gifts.
I can get in debt myself. I don't need to get in debt for someone else.
Well, and that's why I'm a firm believer in experiences. Again, going to dinner or doing something nice. Like that's something that feels special rather than, oh, here's a gift that you'll love, but like it's just a monetary value item.
Right.
Yeah,
for sure.
So
speaking of Sarah, she'll be coming here shortly. So if I abruptly jump out of my seat to let her in, that would explain it. So
okay. All right.
Just a heads up to our listeners and to my co-host here.
Okay.
All right, let's get right into the show here. There's some observer notes and then 3 house shows that we're going to talk about here first. So last week I mentioned that WrestleMania is scheduled to be in Connecticut, or that's the rumor. Well, it in fact will be in Connecticut. It will be in Hartford, Connecticut.
Ugh.
That was finalized, I believe, the week prior to when the Observer was released, and it will be announced October 27th. So get excited for some Hartford WrestleMania action. Shawn Michaels recently broke his hand on October 14th, but they won't be able to say anything on television for 3 more weeks because, well, they've taped quite a bit of stuff. So you can't mention on television that he broke his hand while he's competing in wrestling matches without a broken hand.
Right.
So that will be interesting to see how that plays out. I guess it's a substantial break. He could be out for a little bit of time here.
Weird.
As noted last week here on the October 9th Sunrise, Florida house show, Scott Norton worked the program. And he lost the match to Bob Holly in the opening bout. And Dave Meltzer kind of goes on a rant here about Mr. Scott Norton. I thought it was kind of funny. Someone read it to you. He says, think about this. Here's a guy, in reference to Norton, who they wouldn't use in small Oregon indies because he wouldn't put anyone over in front of like 50 or 100 fans, so they couldn't do programs with them. Here's a guy who held up WCW and ended up walking out because he wouldn't put over Sting on a pay-per-view, which was Slamboree 93. Here's a guy who just a few weeks back wouldn't put Maso Chono over clean, and they had to do a DQ finish, which is totally unacceptable for fans in Japan. And now he puts Bob Holly over in an opener on a house show. He must want the job pretty badly.
You think?
Which would be another blow to New Japan that has virtually no foreign talent in the heavyweight division. So I thought that was kind of hilarious. That this guy's like, I won't put over anybody in Oregon. I'm not going to do the job in New Japan. WCW, fuck you guys. I'm playing them out. But like, WWF, I'll put over anybody. I want a job real bad.
That's so funny. Where's the logic there?
I don't think there is one.
Yeah, if I'm a wrestler, dude, I'm being Scott Norton. No, fuck you.
In case you're wondering, in terms of like WWF history, Scott Norton did not get a job, and I don't believe he ever worked WWF television.
No,
ever.
Not that I know of. No.
Yeah, so obviously he would go, I guess, back to WCW in about a year or so from now. But I thought that was a funny story that this guy's like, I'm not putting anybody over, but if it's Bob Holly, I'll do it.
I would have easily jobbed a fucking Chono. Are you serious?
Yeah, and like I don't understand.
Chono's Japan, the man.
Right, like that's a big name. It's not like freaking Ludwig Borga or something. Like you're losing to a main event guy. In that organization, like a legend. So, whatever. Last week, Raw on October 10th did a 2.5 rating, and that of course featured Luger against Bam Bam Bigelow. So we're dipping back down to Drosy Lawler numbers. Those are two guys that are, I guess you could say, substantially bigger names. Yeah. Than Drosy and Lawler. Let's go to some house show notes here for the WWF and, of course, a USWA show. But let's first get to the WWF ones. These shows both took place on October 15th, 1994. The first one was in Landover, Maryland at the U.S. Air Arena, and it drew 3,800 fans. And the card featured the following matches. The Bushwhackers squaring off against Well Done, Bob Holly taking on Quang, Lex Luger in singles action against Tatanka, WWF Women's Champion Alundra Blaze defending against Bull Nakano, WWF Tag Team Champion Diesel squaring off against Fatu, Jeff Jarrett in singles action against 1-2-3 Kid, WWF World Champion Bret Hart defending against Jim Neidhart, and in the main event, The Undertaker squared off against Yokozuna in a casket match.
Damn it, there's some sleepers in there.
Diesel Fatu really kind of...
Yeah, and then like Jarrett Kidd.
Sure.
I don't know, dude. Yeah, I still can't go, but like, ooh, that's tempting. But I can't go.
I'm going to give it a shot. Blaze Nakano.
I know,
Holly,
yeah. Fuck.
Give it a Jarrett Kidd like you mentioned.
No, I can't. I can't do it.
Go with it. All right. The second show here for the WWF was in Bourne, Massachusetts, October 15th. Of course, 1,300 is the attendance, which is a sellout. And it featured the following matches. Abe Schwartz against PJ Walker. King Kong Bundy in singles action against Doink the Clown.
Oh.
Adam Bomb in singles action against Nikolai Volkov.
No.
WWF Intercontinental Champion Razor Ramon defending against Bob Backlund. The Smoking Guns squaring off against the Heavenly Bodies. IRS in singles action against Mabel. And in the main event, Davey Boy Smith squaring off against Owen Hart.
All right. Well, the card really, really just punches you right in the nuts to start off. But like as you go, it kind of gives you a flower, kisses you on the forehead, and like rubs your back. Yeah. But like that initial punch in the nuts really hurts. But I think I'm going to stay for the back rub and the flower.
You're not going to that show and skipping out on the first one.
I'm going to that show.
Bro, you're nuts.
It's going to be a dumpster fire.
Yes.
But that's kind of why I want to go.
Oh my God. No, I'm staying away from the Bourne, Massachusetts one. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I cannot believe that you're like, yeah, I gotta go. What the fuck? All right.
Come on, man. Just come with me.
No, I'm not going to that one.
All right.
Let's go to the USWA, October 17th, Memphis, Tennessee, Mid-South Coliseum. And this is a substantially larger crowd in comparison to most of the last couple of years for USWA. It drew 3,103 fans, which is a gate of 16,645, and it featured the following matches. Spellbinder against Jeff Gaylord. The Moondogs, which would be Spot and Rex, taking on Spellbinder and Reggie B. Fine. Scott Bowden against Randy Hales in a lumberjack strap match. Miss Texas against Fantasia. PG-13 against the Phantoms in a trick or treat match. USWA champion Tommy Rich defending against Buddy Landell. And in the main event, the USWA Unified World Champion Sid Vicious defending against The Undertaker.
I think I'm going to that show.
I would be going for Sid Taker.
Well, I mean, yeah, those are your names on top, but at the same time, I feel like the undercard's kind of interesting. And what the fuck's a trick or treat match?
I have no idea.
So, like, that kind of gets my attention.
Yeah, I have absolutely zero idea of what the hell a trick or treat match is.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I think I'm going to that show. I'm not getting great seats, even though great seats are probably like $20. I'm still not getting great
You could probably
seats.
get cheaper than that for a good seat.
Yeah.
For Memphis.
Right. Yeah. And they're drawing a bigger crowd than the WWF in some cities. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go to that one.
Yeah, like I said, 3,100 for that. Like you compare it to last week, it was like under 1,200.
Right.
They did 1,650 earlier, 1,200, 1,400. Yeah, so that's easily about double. Or just over double.
Yeah.
Of what they're normally doing. There's some shows here with 800 earlier in May. So by all accounts, though, USWA here in '94 is still drawing respectable crowds. So
For sure.
their eventual fall from grace is pretty sudden. One piece of syndication news here, and it is mentioned on television, but I'll just describe it. I guess a little lengthy here, describing the segment for you. On the October 15th edition of Superstars, Vince McMahon was in the ring with Arnold Scollin, the former manager of Bob Backlund. Arnold talks about meeting Backlund for the first time, and he says that he has a lot in him still. He considers Backlund to be a son of his. Vince brings up how Backlund lost the belt to Sheik in '83. Arnold explains his actions from 11 years ago. It's been 11 years after the fact, and he's explaining himself. It's
What a payoff!
This is ridiculous. This is the longest angle in the history of professional wrestling. He was looking out for Backlund's future. Arnold hasn't talked to Backlund since the match. Backlund runs out and yells at Arnold for lying about wanting to save his career. Bob says that the championship felt like he was dying when he was losing the championship. McMahon's face during this is pretty hilarious. He really sells the fact that Backlund is going insane. Arnold apologizes for throwing the towel in, I should say. Vince wants to know why Backlund doesn't respect Arnold. Backlund responds by putting the chicken wing on Arnold when he's turned his back. McMahon and several officials try to get Bob off of Arnold. And then of all people in the history of professional wrestling, Bob Sparky Plug comes running out to the ring, and he tries to help pull Bob away off of Arnold. Of course, when Backlund breaks free, he's just looking at his hands while Holly's yelling at him, and then Backlund just decides to leave the ring. As I mentioned, it is noted later on in the show, and we'll discuss it then as well. But they're really selling that Bob Backlund has lost his mind.
And I'm buying it. And let me tell you, maybe it should be a battle of the Bobs, and whoever wins gets to keep Bob in their name. Otherwise, you can't use Bob in your name anymore.
Well, I feel Holly should lose that by default because he can just go to Sparky. I liked him better as Sparky.
No. Thurman? No.
Yeah, Sparky Plug. You didn't like that?
No, man,
Hi,
I
I'm
did
Thurman
not.
Sparky Plug, and I'm a race car driver, and I'm gonna win the WWF World Championship.
No. No, there's no ring to Thurman Sparky Plug.
You're just a hater. You're a complete hater.
So, am I excited for Bob Sparkplug Holly to have that name? Yeah, I fucking am.
Great.
Do I want to see a feud between the Bobs? No, I fucking don't.
Oh, all right. Well, fine. So, you're a buzzkill, man. You know, after all these episodes, and you're just trashing them, then.
Well, that's what I do. It's kind of become my gimmick now. Here we are. We're talking about a potential Bob Holly, Bob Backlund feud. Do you want me to be excited?
Sign me the fuck up, man. Bob Backlund better win the WWF World Championship, and by God, we better get a Bob Backlund, Bob Holly World Championship feud. And I'm not kidding.
I'm just gonna let that one die.
All right, great. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
All right, let's get right into it here. The October 17th edition of Monday Night Raw, Burlington, Vermont. And we are live. And we're going right into some freaking wrestling action. It's the opening match. Jeff Jarrett taking on Doink the Clown. It's been a long, heated rivalry. These guys have been dressing up as each other. Well, Jeff has been dressing up as Doink. This was months ago. Some of you might have even forgotten about it. But the WWF will not let you forget about bad angles because they have to pay it off. Yeah. So sure, it's been like, 2 or 3 months, maybe even 4. I can't remember. But here we are. The showdown of all the showdowns. The biggest match in Raw history. It's the country music singer wannabe against a fake clown. And if you don't think that dwarfs will be involved, well, then you just don't know the WWE.
Oh, man.
Do you want to describe this? Do you want to do the rundown for this?
Oh, absolutely not.
Oh, son of a bitch. Okay, well, I was really trying to get out of this. I'll just describe this as quickly as I can. Jarrett quickly bails to the floor only to be tripped by Doink. He works over Doink's knee until he misses a splash attempt. Doink hip tosses and scoop slams Jarrett. Dink proceeds to bite Jarrett's butt in the corner before Doink delivers a drop toe hold. Doink avoids a back elbow strike in the corner, and he regains control of the side headlock. Jarrett with a drop toe hold of his own, but he misses another elbow. Jarrett counters an abdominal stretch with one of his own. He then uses the rope for leverage a few times until Dink bites Jarrett's fingers, which I don't know how that's not a disqualification, but it's okay. Doink nails Jarrett with a leaping back elbow and a clothesline as a couple of Jerry Lawler's mini kings come over. Doink is beaten up by the mini wrestlers for a few moments. Doink runs into a big boot in the corner as Raw goes into a commercial. Jarrett jumps onto Doink's back as he is draped over the middle rope. Jarrett follows up with a drop kick for a 2 count. Doink gets out of a sleeper hold, but is stopped with a knee lift. Jarrett puts a sleeper on Doink while using the ropes for leverage. Doink then scoop slams Jarrett, but misses an elbow drop. Doink comes off the ropes, but Jarrett puts the sleeper on again. Doink blocks a kick until Jarrett uses his free leg to kick Doink on the side of the head for a 2 count. Doink blocks a backdrop by taking Jarrett over with a butterfly suplex. Jarrett is the first one to recover from the move, but misses a middle rope knee drop. Doink power slams Jarrett and sends Jarrett into a mini king on the apron. Doink hits a vertical suplex, but Jarrett kicks out at 2. The mini Doinks at this point are chasing after the mini kings, which is, hilarity. Doink drop kicks Jarrett for another 2 count. Doink scoop slams Jarrett and heads to the top for the whoopee cushion, and he hits it. However, Jerry Lawler runs down and he leaps off the middle rope to deliver a fist drop and then puts Jarrett on top of Doink for the victory. And after the match, Lawler introduces his second miniature king, Sleazy. All right, so a couple of things that are wrong with this. Number one, I hated this match because, it's Doink and, nobody likes Doink. Number two, I really, 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 really want to like Jeff Jarrett. I really want to be excited to see Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah.
This motherfucker, technically speaking, was losing to Doink the Clown. Like, he was going to lose unless Jerry Lawler came in and helped him out. How are you building Jeff Jarrett to anything of substance if you can't beat Doink the fucking Clown? I was infuriated watching this. And when I thought Doink was going to win when Jarrett collided with the Miniature King. I'm like, we're going to do the same fucking finish from last week, just with a smaller guy. Oh my God. I was infuriated watching this and really contemplated why I even am watching it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
It was just disgusting. What did you think of it? Did you enjoy it nearly as much as I did?
Oh, I did. I loved it. I thought it was great.
Of course you did.
Absolutely fucking not. And you know what? There was a point in the match where the reason I didn't want to break down this match is because I was literally not taking notes. I was just watching in awe of like, is this really where we're at right now? Like, this is real. Because there's a point in the match where Doink gets like dumped to the floor. And then the two little kings go over and like put the boots to Doink. And just the visualization of two little kings stomping out Doink the Clown. Shitty Doink the Clown.
Yeah.
In late 1994. The only thing I could think was like how pathetic this is. It's fucking such an insult to your crowd. Like putting this shit on. To me, it felt like a 60-minute Iron Man match. I didn't know when it was going to end. We got like, I don't know, there was a spot that like should have been the finish and like the crowd was expecting it to be the finish and then it wasn't the finish and like you could feel the air of the crowd just deflate. They're like, oh, yeah, like fuck, that wasn't it. And it was totally obvious that they just were trying to get as many little spots on the outside of the ring with the little people as they could before the finish of the match. Because that's kind of like what it turned into. Dude, it was such a fucking cluster. And like the worst part about it, Jeff gets totally shit on.
Yeah,
totally.
It's horrible.
The spotlight goes like solely on the little people. Like that's what it's about.
Yeah.
And then just the introduction of like Sleazy and Queasy at the end and like Jerry Lawler basically inserting himself. I was just like, dude, fuck this. Fuck everything about this. Poor Jeff Jarrett, dude. I would have quit. I would have left and just not done it anymore.
Like I've said, like his presentation here compared to like how he's been presented in Memphis over the years is just so drastically different. And how this stuff doesn't impact like Jerry Lawler's ability to draw in Memphis
is insane.
Is insane to me.
Insane.
I'm assuming that people in Memphis don't have televisions. That's probably what's going on.
Dude, I don't know. Either that or like you said, they lost syndication of that and Raw.
Yeah.
Like they just don't have the channel.
Maybe they don't have cable boxes or something. I don't know.
King's pulling strings and is like, don't air this here. Do not air this.
Just edit it out.
Yeah, I'll do
tough,
it.
You know, it's tough to see him as this cool Memphis guy or
you can't, dude.
Or a badass heel when he's freaking feuding with a clown.
Yeah, you cannot. You can't take that serious.
No, yeah, it's way too outlandish for me. But
I totally agree.
If we can get through this, we can get through anything.
I hope, because hopefully this is as bad as it gets. Because if it gets any worse than this, dude, we're pulling the fucking plug. That's it.
We'll just stop doing it abruptly. Yeah, we won't even tell you guys. Like we're just done.
Yeah.
Let's go right into our second match. It's Davey Boy Smith against Roy Raymond. Luckily, Davey Boy is able to provide some entertainment, and he wins the match following a running power slam. What did you think of Davey Boy's showcase here?
So again, they show Bulldog before, like backstage, gearing up for his match. We get promoted that Bret Hart is taking on Owen Hart for a final encounter on Action Zone this Sunday. That's friggin' dumb.
Well, so here's the thing. I want to explain with Action Zone. Obviously, It's the new syndication,
For
kinda
sure.
like replacing Wrestling Challenge.
Yeah.
And with like Superstars and stuff, we'll usually cover this. We'll do a match description. So what's going to happen here is actually realistically, the next time we sit down, we'll probably just have to do live watches of them.
Right.
To continue that trend. But really moving, I want to make sure it's clear here. Action Zone, from my memory, is only of reference or relevance for like 2 months, and then it's just completely forgotten about.
Right.
So we'll always look at the Superstars matches and stuff like that, but we'll look at Superstars matches when we're not going to be in the same room. Like we'll do like the move by move type of. We'll have that aspect involved. But
Sure.
It will not be like that with Action Zone, just because, why be invested into a program when they don't give a shit about it after 8 weeks?
Exactly. Right.
But they do have, that's a huge match, Brett and Owen, but I don't like the stipulation of if Owen loses, he can't challenge for the belt ever again.
Dude, yeah. What the fuck?
I don't like that. I've never.
No. So fuck that. Okay, right off the bat, fuck that. Bulldog here, he gets a solid reaction. He hits an awesome stalling suplex. I've always been a sucker for a good stalling suplex. It seemed like the enhancement guy was getting a little too much in on Bulldog. But then, of course, Bulldog does get the finish, celebrates. People are pretty hyped up to see Bulldog. But I don't think we should have seen Bulldog in any trouble taking care of this guy. So for me, it wasn't a very impressive showcase. Like, to me, it kind of came off like Bulldog's like, oh, I can do okay. Not like, yeah, I'm still the power guy you know and love. Let me have this minute-long match, hit my power slam, and just get the win.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just, there's something off about Bulldog that I don't like right now. I don't know what it is. There's a piece missing, for sure. So that's where I was at.
In terms of his work?
I don't know what it is. I think so. I think it's in terms of his work, because really his look isn't that different.
No.
I don't know, dude. I don't know, but there's something that's not clicking with me and Bulldog, because again, Bulldogs, I love British Bulldog. I remember I made you buy me a toy of his at fucking the wrestling shop we always go to, or used to go to.
You didn't make me buy it. I bought it for you, and you were like, no. And I was like, dude, stop here.
Yeah, I goaded you into it.
I was willingly doing it.
And then I felt guilty.
Yeah, that's more accurate. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, so I'm a Bulldog fan, but at the same time, dude, I just can't get into, I don't know, dude. I just can't get into him right now. I don't know what it is.
I don't know. Maybe it's just because it's so abrupt.
Yeah.
There wasn't like a real, guide into, or a slow build into his return. It's more like a boom, hey, you're back. And
right.
So maybe it just has to be an adjustment period or something. I don't know. I don't know. I like Davey Boy. I think he definitely provides a much needed star power boost. But I do. Him having a hard time with Roy Raymond.
No. Yeah.
I've never understood competitive enhancement matches. They should be 2 minutes. Your star goes
and
over.
Done. Yeah.
Yeah. You just move on.
Done. Yes.
It shouldn't be a complicated situation.
No.
Sometimes people like to make it more complicated than it needs to be. Let's go to our next segment here. Bob Backlund comes down to the ringside area, and he wants Vince McMahon to interview him. That's right. He's demanding interview time. Backlund says there is no reason to look at the tape from WWF Superstars, where Backlund put his former manager in the chicken wing submission. Backlund knows that he should apologize to everyone for his actions. He claims that the day he chose Arnold as his manager, his career went downhill. He talks about never swearing in front of children or eating marijuana. Backlund says that he will retire from wrestling if anyone can get out of the chicken wing submission. So naturally, Lex Luger makes his way down to the ringside area to confront Bob Backlund. Luger wants Backlund to pick on someone his own size for once. Ironically, Luger is significantly bigger than Bob Backlund. I'm pretty sure, I have it in my notes here that Luger is like the size of 3 Bob Backlunds in terms of his muscle mass and everything. Height-wise, too, you can make the argument. Bob gets into the ring wanting Luger to enter as well, but Luger is held back by referees. So Bob Backlund is now feuding with Bret Hart, Sparky Plug Holly, and Lex Luger. So this should be a whole lot of fun.
Public enemy number 1, Bob Backlund.
Everyone hates Bob Backlund.
Yeah.
What did you think of this segment? And are you interested at all in a Bob Backlund, Lex Luger feud match or anything of that nature?
Well, I'll tell you what. So as we've discussed, it seems like every time Bob's on the mic, he really believes what he's saying. I have to totally credit, because I don't think we have yet, the unsung hero of these promos being the camera work. Because the way they zoom into Bob Backlund's face as he's just going on a tirade is exactly what you need to sell the moment. It's tuning out everything else, and it's literally the entire screen is his face. So I think that's super important and really helps me sell on the legitimacy of what he's saying. The eating marijuana thing popped me huge because there's no way he really thinks that that's what you do with it. But to seem so out of touch, that's what he says, is just really, really funny to me.
I could see him legitimately think that's how it works.
That you eat marijuana?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I could totally see him being like, "All right, Vince, I can't eat the marijuana." I mean, you technically can eat it, like in a brownie or something, but of course he's referencing like smoking it or something. But,
yes, correct.
But it is pretty funny. I could see him being like, "No, Hulk, don't eat the marijuana. Whatever you do, don't do it."
So I don't know, dude. That shit's pretty funny again. He's asking them not to show the tape. They don't deserve to see it. They show the tape. Yada, yada, yada. I don't like that they hold off Lex from going in the ring. Like, I kind of wanted Lex to go in there and like break it so it pissed you off and pissed off Bob Backlund. Because I know you're into Bob Backlund, but if Lex finally gets his validation, he loses at SummerSlam 93. Loses at WrestleMania. Like all this, and his final validation is him beating and getting out of the chicken wing from Bob Backlund. It would have been worth every fucking disappointment. Just for Bob Backlund to be like, well, fuck. I gotta retire. Thanks, Lex. Like, fuck you out of that. But, of course, lo and behold, we did not get that.
No, we did not. I have no interest in a Bob Backlund Lex Luger match. I can't imagine how that will fucking play out.
No.
Yeah, that would be just. Well, I just got chills because that just sounds horrifying. But let's go to our third match. It's Bob Holly taking on Reno Riggins. Luckily for Bob Holly, he's getting on the right track. See what I did there, folks? He's a race car track. Okay, anyway. Holly wins the match following a top rope cross body. And then coming out of that next week, the WWF Intercontinental Champion Razor Ramon will be taking on Yokozuna. I don't know about you, but I was far more entertained by the announcement of Razor Ramon against Yokozuna, which is one of the bigger matches, both physically large and also name power that we've seen in a few weeks. Yeah, I know we had a Luger or Bigelow, but those are two guys that, for the most part, no one should really care about.
Right.
But with Razor Ramon being the new Intercontinental Champion, winning at SummerSlam, and Yokozuna, who we hadn't seen since about King of the Ring, gets a high-profile match. So you have anything about the Bob Holly match here, enhancement match? And then what's your opinion here on Razor Ramon Yokozuna? Could Razor Ramon hit the razor's edge on Yokozuna? Probably not.
Absolutely fucking not. But if he did, give him every belt in the company.
No, that's Scott Steiner. That is Scott Steiner.
Yeah. No, to go to the Bob Holly match. First things first. Finally, he has not decided to don the highlighter costume that he's been plagued with since he debuted. Bob Holly here comes out in basically an all black attire with some checkerboard on it, which
It looked good.
It looked really good, and I'm super into that. Bob Holly himself looked pretty solid in the ring. He's hitting some solid moves. It's a clean, quick win. Although, like, watching him and how aggressive he is, Bob Holly needs to ditch the race car gimmick and he needs to go heel.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted after seeing this.
I like Bob Holly. I think he's a good undercard guy.
I think he's underrated.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I don't know. I was into that. I like the aggressive spin he puts on his work. So we'll see what happens with Bob Holly, especially now with the name change, the costume change, and maybe even a little bit of an attitude change, which I'd be totally okay with.
Well, you know what? And it's funny you say underrated because he did get like a decent match out of Jim Neidhart
Yeah,
on like
Yeah.
Wrestling Challenge that we watched. So
for sure. Yeah. As far as the IC title matchup that's announced, I'll tell you what, man, if that doesn't cement Yoko's spot as out of the main event, I don't know what does.
Yeah.
That's like a blatant stand of, hey, no more, long gone are the days of Yokozuna in the main event. That's the only thing I got from it.
well, I mean, he could probably get like spliced in there sometimes, but in terms of like a regular
Long-term,
long-term draw, no. But I feel like if it's like trying to boost a rating or something, and like 2 years from now you have a world champion, it's like, oh, who can we have challenge in Raw? Okay, well, Yokozuna was like relevant 2 years ago, maybe do that. But he's not going to be. He's his era was 93.
Yes.
So the first quarter of 94.
And that's it. Yeah.
IRS cuts a promo saying that he is going to uncover The Undertaker as the biggest tax cheat ever, which would make sense considering The Undertaker is technically dead. So how can he be a tax cheat unless he died as a tax cheat?
No, yeah.
And I could understand that. This is such an obvious crutch for IRS that every feud is either him repossessing something because they didn't pay their taxes or he thinks they're a tax cheat. You're very limited in what you can do with angles here with Erwin R. Shyster.
All I can say is if that's their way of inserting possibly an IRS Undertaker feud into the mix down the road is, oh boy.
Yeah.
Fucking yikes.
I don't know, man. At least it's like not a giant again, like Undertaker's working with someone relatively smaller, but IRS isn't very exciting in the ring.
Right. And that's the one thing that I kind of took back as like a positive, at least it's not the same thing we've gotten for the last year and a half.
Right.
But at the same time, IRS is winning here with an STF. So like who cares?
Just stick to the lariat.
Yeah.
What Austin is referencing here is the fourth contest, IRS taking on Tim McNeely. And it's literally about a minute and a half of domination before IRS wins with the STF. IRS, to me, is one of the most boring wrestlers going. As a kid, I loved him with Money Incorporated.
Sure.
As a 30-year-old, I kind of dread watching him.
Yeah.
And certainly singles action. He's tolerable in tag team stuff, but singles, he just doesn't really cut it. Let's go to footage from WWF Superstars where Yokozuna freaked out again at the sight of a casket. So we're still really playing up the whole scared of death, darkness type of thing here with Yokozuna. And then we get to our, I guess you could say, main event of the evening. The Heavenly Bodies taking on Nick Barberry and Barry Horowitz. The Heavenly Bodies pick up the win when Del Rey pins Barberry following a moonsault to finish him off from the top rope. And that'll just wrap up the last thing we'll talk about it all here in general. Backstage, Lex Luger cuts a promo on Bob Backlund. Luger doesn't like what he sees nowadays from Backlund. I'm sure that Luger didn't know who Backlund was prior to this interaction.
Yeah.
Luger issues a challenge to Backlund to a match with someone from the new generation. So Luger considers himself part of the new generation. McMahon and Savage hype up next week's show, which, of course, is going to feature Razor and Yokozuna. I'm a fan of the Heavenly Bodies, and anytime that they're on, I can dig it. Underrated tag team. They should have, I think, a greater focus in the tag division. I'm still waiting for Head Shrinkers, Heavenly Bodies. Maybe with the new Head Shrinkers, that will happen. Who knows? We'll see. But Lex Luger, you're not part of the new generation just because it's the tagline. The new generation's like 1, 2, 3 kid. The new generation is guys, substantially younger.
Owen Hart.
Yeah, he would be a new generation. Luger, you've been on television since like 1986. Whether it be NWA, WCW, or now WWF. Your style is the old-timer way. It is not the new generation. But, of course, WWF, they don't know how to promote that correctly because, for Christ's sakes, Nikolai Volkov and King Kong Bundy have returned to the company. Yeah. So what did you think here of the closing segments here? Main event, Luger's promo.
First things first here, I have to say that, the casket thing with Yoko is just so overplayed. He's selling like a cartoon character. Just totally discredits the monster and the mystique that is Yokozuna. So again, still not enjoy that part of our breakdown here. And I'll tell you what, man, the Bodies didn't have a great match here. I don't think they came off looking very good. The moonsault was like sloppy to finish the match. They were kind of getting beat on by the enhancement guys to start things off. I don't know. We've seen them in a much better light. And I think maybe because they were running out of TV time, it was very rushed. But yeah, I wasn't super impressed with this showing of the Bodies here, which kind of sucked. As far as Lex backstage, he fumbled on his words like 2 or 3 times, which I thought was funny. He calls him Bobby Blackland instead of Backlund. You see, so he throws out the challenge here. So let's see what you got. Again, I don't have much interest, but if Luger's able to embarrass Bob Backlund and retire him, I'll be pretty impressed. Otherwise, I don't know what they're going to do to have Lex. If Lex doesn't do that, I don't know what they're going to do to have Lex come out still looking okay.
Could you imagine the payoff is that Luger breaks free and then Backlund has to retire?
Right.
That would be pretty funny.
That would be so funny where his first like legit challenge, he loses.
He's like, well, I'm gone. I said what I said.
Yeah. Otherwise, I feel very bad for Lex Luger because, again, I feel like we're just setting ourselves up for yet another disappointment. So we'll kind of see where that goes. Diesel in action next week, the IC title match, Action Zone's promoted again. So hopefully next week will be a decent little show. It seems like bigger things have been announced for that show than there has been in the last 6 fucking weeks. So that's kind of nice to see. But again, just super middle of the road. Everything's just starting to blur together at this point for me, which kind of sucks. Like nothing's standing out anymore. The Doink King stuff is absolutely brutal. And other than that, I mean, what else is new? Nothing. It feels like the same run-of-the-mill shit, which sucks. It doesn't feel like must-see TV anymore.
I will tell you right now, I've never been more grateful in my entire life to have a break.
Yeah. From
this fucking horseshit. To know for the next month, I don't have to travel back in time and watch this shit. I'm so happy. But then I'm also kind of dreading it because when you come here, we've already said we're watching 4 of these suckers and we're doing it live. And so fuck my life, man. Like we might, I know you don't drink, but you might start when you come back, when you come down here to watch 4 episodes. So
yeah,
I don't know. I have to run real quick and let Sarah in, but I will be right back.
All right. Well, kind of continuing on what I'm saying here and almost piggybacking on what Bob said, I believe it was last week is, I think the next 4 episodes roughly that we release, again, when I'm home with Bob to actually sit down and record with him old school ways like we did before, I think it'll be a nice kind of sample, like Bob said, of where for 95, that's kind of the direction we're heading, is listening and watching live and reacting live. So I think that'll be a nice treat for you, the listeners. It'll be a nice treat for us to kind of break up the monotony the last month and a half has delivered us. So I am looking forward to it as much as Bob says he is not.
I'm not looking forward to what?
Doing our 4 live Raw episodes.
Oh,
together.
no, I'm looking forward to, hanging out with you and stuff.
Mm-hmm, sure
it will be easier, watching it the one time instead of, watching and then talking about it as well.
Right.
It kind of gives me like PTSD, honestly, talking about that stuff. But it will be all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, this next month being off, it's much needed. Sarah, I know, is thrilled because she'll actually be able to see me.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
Yeah, so that'll be nice. But hopefully everybody listening has enjoyed the last 6 dreadful episodes of Monday Night Raw. If you're watching along with us, sorry that you've had to watch the last month or so of television. I know, like, I've seen on Twitter, like, a lot of people have been, like, watching from the first Raw onwards.
Oh, okay.
Which kind of was, like, good. That's kind of what the network is for, to watch all the older stuff. So it's pretty cool that people are actually doing that. But yeah, I feel like there's nothing else for me to really add to this. I started off when we did this recording pretty upset and sad, but now that it's done and knowing that I don't have to worry about it again for a while, my mood is just greatly improved.
You hear the enthusiasm now in Bob's voice.
Literally, I feel so much better knowing that I can just be like, all right, we're good. Nothing to worry about here. Now I just have to edit them. It's fine. No big deal.
Yes. Well, we are in fact good again for roughly a month. It'll be a while since me and Bob actually sat down to do a recording together, probably since the last time I was home, which was almost a year ago now, which is insane. So yeah, that'll be enjoyable. We'll both be able to kind of enjoy the holidays a little bit, which will be very nice. Like this coming Thursday's Halloween, which is going to be cool to like not have to worry about the podcast. You guys will still be, of course, enjoying every Monday. But for us, it'll be a nice refresher of the batteries. So
yeah, we won't have to worry about anything on Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. That's been, I think, our general theme for the couple years that we've been doing this. So
yeah. Yep.
Should be a good time. Austin, you got anything else here for episode 96? Are we ready to jet out of town?
Bob, I think the next time I see you, I will be sitting in your living room.
And maybe I will finally put together that chair that I have that has a desk chair for you. And by me, I mean Sarah. Sarah puts pretty much everything together for me. That includes the bookcases. So
yeah. So
I am not much of a man at all.
Well, you haven't had much practice.
It's true.
So you're getting there. She's making a hubby out of you yet.
Yeah.
But the real hubby will be back in town to record with you very soon. It's going to go by in a flash, and I will be sitting in your living room, like I said, before you fucking know it. So.
Yeah, and I cannot wait.
Yeah.
But if that's all you got, I have nothing else to go to say on this episode. So for Austin Skinner, I'm Bob Conley Jr., and this has been ICOPOD.
You gotta hear it.